Now, my channel has been doing a lot of different videos over the last few months, and there's definitely been one concurrent thing of me defending Arsenal players. I don't think every single Arsenal player is brilliant, but I'm definitely not someone to just hate someone straight away. I give it time and look at the overall picture. And when some players aren't playing necessarily well, I don't tend to really want to highlight that or talk about it too much, because at the end of the day, Arsenal have top players and they've got great quality all around the pitch. But today it looks like I'm going to be defending another player, and I'm going to be defending kiwior for Arsenal right now. Just before we go through Kiwior, if you can like and subscribe this video please if you like this content, and let me know what you think about him in the description. Now, one of the big players that I defended for Arsenal over this season was Kai Havertz. I defended him in that left centre mid position, thinking that he would definitely get good, as his height and physicality is something we need. I also said when he consistently plays with Jesus a bit more, you get to see his quality, and I definitely think the last few weeks you've definitely seen that. I think he's arguably been Arsenal's best player, and he did win Player of the Month. And I could see what Mikel was trying to do with Havertz. He was trying to use that physicality and that height, and now I can see what he's trying to do with kiwior as well. There's no doubt about it, kiwior hasn't really been spoken about since he joined. He's been a bit of a squad player and hasn't really got much game time, and he doesn't really get noticed around the other players. This season I was expecting a lot more. Woklz have been a bit disappointed so far, but I don't think he's been anywhere near as bad as people say he is. I think Arteta did sign Kiwior to be a left back replacement and a centre back. I do think he looked at the fact he has played left back a lot in his career and thought that was a great idea to be a backup, but I don't think it's really working in our system, because I think Arteta is requiring a lot from him. Kiwior is a physical defender. He's very quick and he's a big guy. He can push people off the ball and usually use his physicality to win it. Now, I know Arsenal's season did fall apart last year when Saliba got injured, but I don't think it was because Kiwior came in. I actually thought he was really good when he played them games. Against Chelsea and Newcastle, I thought he was excellent when he played in centre-back and really showed a great threat. He's not going to be brilliant every game. I do think he has struggled a lot, and I think more in that left-back position he struggles than often. It seems like Mikel wants him to play that bit of that Zinchenko role and move up the pitch a bit more, and he does seem a bit comfortable sometimes, but he seems a bit naive and doesn't have that understanding with Martinelli of when to go and when to stay. I also think Kiwior is actually a really good ball progressor. He's actually very good with the ball and very good at passing, but we're not seeing that at Arsenal because he's just not getting the chance to. He doesn't get the ball very often, and often he seems to be used as more of a fullback option as an actual defending with than any other. Now, obviously everyone's looking at Kiwior right now because he didn't play necessarily that well against PSV, but that was because he got dribble passed by Bakayoko a lot of the game, and Bakayoko is a very good winger and was wanted by Crystal Palace for 40 mil in the summer, so I don't really think that's necessarily fair on him. And also, yeah, sometimes he isn't great on a 1v1 defender, but nor is Zinchenko as a left back. Zinchenko constantly makes mistakes defensively, and it's cost us a lot of times, and Kiwior is not making anywhere near them sort of mistakes either. And in that game, he still had a very good game. He did 7 defensive actions, he did 1 recovery, 3 clearances and 1 headed clearance and 1 block. He did 2 out of 3 tackles he made were successful, and he was actually very good, even though he did lose 4 duels. Yeah, he still won 4 as well, so it's not the worst. And in this Arsenal side, he has to get forward, and he isn't used to that, but you can tell he's slowly getting there, understanding the game and understanding where to be. Against PSV, I think we saw this a few times. Right in the last minute, okay, he could have scored as a volley over the box, but I like the position he had. And he uses his height and physicality very good sometimes. He's very good at defending headers in the box. That's 6'2". That is definitely a physicality trait that we need in some games. And he did score a goal, which I think is perfectly fine, because I think Gabriel is not including with a play because I think the goalkeeper really misses it. And Kiwior has said before that he doesn't like using duels, and he is actually quite a good defender, but I actually don't necessarily agree with this in that way. I think he's actually better with the ball and better being that inverted player like Zinchenko, but I do think his physicality and his height definitely makes him maybe a better option sometimes. And sometimes you're going to have a very technical player, a very good player that going forward and helping the team, such as Zinchenko, and I think Kiwior is very much like that, but they aren't going to be the best defender one-on-one, but necessarily that isn't the worst thing in the world. Because if you look at the game, yes, he did get dribbled past quite a few times by Bakayoko, who is one of the best tricky wingers in the world, I will say, so it's not going to happen every week. But Arsenal still managed to draw the game and play pretty well, and I think Kiwior was decent in that game. He's doing so much more defensive actions than Zinchenko is in that same role, and he might not be as good going forward, but the defensive work is getting better despite that one game. And I think it's clear that to everyone that Kiwior is a much better centre-back than he is a left-back. I think he's decent on either side of the centre-back role. I think he can play in that left centre-back role and that right centre-back role to a decent amount of level, but we've obviously seen him play in that left centre-back role a lot more. He's got great on the ball awareness and he's pretty decently defensively, but when he doesn't have to do necessarily all that work going forward, I think it makes him a better player. But his raw technical ability should be enough to financially figure out that role and eventually be able to create chances and work with Martinelli. I think think that's the problem. He needs to work with Martinelli more. Last season he worked with him really well at the end of the year, and Martinelli had a great season, but this year it just seems like everyone has been cut off to try to get the ball to Martinelli, or even if he has to get the ball to Havertz in that other role. I still think Kiwior is a very, very good squad player, and I still think he has a role in the squad. I know he wants to leave because he's not happy with his game time. We maybe could loan him out, but I still think right now that would probably be a bit too much detrimental. I'd rather play Kiwior there than most of other players, like people like Cedric again playing fullback as well. And also, as the left back we have been doing, as you've been noticing, Rice and Odegaard have been playing as that double pivot, dropping deep to try and help the team get the ball up the pitch. As that left back role is becoming more traditional for us, as we don't really want to leave Zinchenko or Kiwior exposed to a 1v1. So this has actually meant that there's not been that much inverting going on recently until Arsenal have the ball a lot and they're kind of waiting for opportunities with the midfield coming back and getting the ball. This change in role would suit him more than you would think, but it is not really working for him because he is not getting on the ball as much, and he's clearly not very confident at defending a one-on-one still. I think you've got to give time to Kiwior. I think he generally needs time. He's a squad player at the end of the day, but I think with Zinchenko's performances, especially defensively, I think Kiwior is a much better defender. And if we are saying to him, look, you've just got to sit back and defend, and okay, he's getting beaten a few times, that's not necessarily good, but his other numbers are pretty decent, and he offers a physical and big height in the box. And people put down a lot of Arsenal's players, but I expect him to come back, and I think Kiwior will be another one that surprises people because he has that unnatural athleticism to use his physicality to actually defend and go past players going forward. It depends what role Arteta wants for him. And I've seen a lot of people say that we should get rid of him, we should get a new left back in or a new full back, and I think this is stupid. When Timber and Tomiyasu come back, so we then got Timber, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko and Ben White, all that can play at both the full backs while having Cedric as well. I know people don't necessarily like him, but it's still an option right now. This is without including the two players that I think definitely need to go. We've got Woklz, who is a brilliant youngster and deserves a place in the team. He deserved a game against PSV and he should have played, but he didn't. He's a brilliant youngster who's worked his way up the youth academy and done really well. He reminds me a lot of Kiwior. He has them physical attributes in right back and is a very big man, but I don't think he necessarily will have that inverting ability right now and have that playability in midfield. But that's okay if you have someone like Timber the other side. And I think with Kiwior, if you had someone like Timber the other side, make him a lot better. But the issue is the inverting is happening on his side, where he would come in for Zinchenko rather than the other way. I'd also want Arsenal to play another youngster, being Sosa in left back. I know we have a lot of left back players, and I'm talking about how Kiwior deserves time, and I do think he does, but Sosa to me has been brilliant for the academy. He's proved himself as an attacking fullback that can overlap, while also doing solid defensive work, and also being quite physical on the ball and very good at reading the game. Of course, these youngsters shouldn't play every game, but they should definitely give him some opportunities. I know Kiwior will, but like, I don't understand why Cedric even played against PSV when you could be playing Woklz or some of these youngsters giving him a go. I think these two may not improve Arsenal, but it gives us a light for the future. Remember when Saka played and we didn't understand how good he was going to be, and now he's changed the team for forever? You might as well always give these youngsters a go. Ethan Noari got a game and he was 15 in the Premier League. I know it was only a couple of minutes, but these players can't even get a minute and they're 18 years old ready to go. It is frustrating that Arteta doesn't seem to favour these youngsters, but I either trust him what he has an idea for, and I trust that he knows what he's doing. And hopefully I've got this right with Kiwior and they keep him and they give him some game time and he proves us all wrong. If you enjoyed this video, please watch the video where I go through who I think Arsenal should sign in January. And also let me know what you think about Kiwior this season and what you think about his future at Arsenal. I want to do another transfer video soon about Arsenal, so let me know your suggestions down below of who you think they should buy. Thank you for watching.